they don't get to inherit from them. Thanks for
On the court's findings in a case that has already devastated a
How the Slayer rule might play a role in determining who will inherit wealth from Rob Reiner and his wife, the photographer and producer Michelle Singer Reiner. The fatal stabbings of filmmaker and actor Rob Reiner and his wife, the photographer and producer Michelle Singer Reiner, have sparked widespread grieving.
likely to receive access to their inheritance for some time.
exists for a simple reason. The law
This tragedy, discovered on December 14, 2025, is also increasing the public's interest in what happens when killers could inherit wealth from their victims. That's because Nick Reiner, their son, was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder 4 days after the couple's deaths at their Los Angeles home. What's the Slayer rule?
property, trusts, and
To unfold. Rob Reiner was one of Hull's Slayer rule, could dramatically change that outcome.
All states have some form of a Slayer rule that prevents killers from inheriting from their victims. While the rules differ slightly from state to state, they always bar murderers from profiting from their own crimes. Simply put, if you're found guilty of killing someone or plead guilty to their murder, you can't inherit anything from your victim's estate.
welcome back to the channel.
The future of Rob Reiner's estimated $200 million
Doesn't mean someone will ultimately receive anything.
In some states, this might go beyond inheritance and apply to jointly held property, insurance policies, and other kinds of accounts. Most of these Slayer rules, including California's, apply only to felonious and intentional killings, meaning that they don't apply if you accidentally kill someone. Although there doesn't have to be a guilty verdict by a judge or a jury or a guilty plea from the accused, there must be some finding by a criminal or civil court of an intentional and felonious killing.
failing to receive medical clearance.
A criminal conviction. Even if a criminal case didn't
Reiner is convicted.
These rules, known as Slayer rules, have a long history in the United States. They became more prominent following an 1889 murder case in New York State, in which a 16-year-old boy poisoned his grandfather to get an inheritance that was written into his grandfather's will. It's hard to say for sure. As far as we know, nobody's tried to keep track.
Found, which is contributing significantly to his overall wealth.
clear, they don't get to inherit from them. Thanks for
Slayer rules come into play whenever someone who would otherwise inherit assets from an estate is convicted of or found liable for murder, and the slayer is entitled to inherit from the victim. These tragic cases almost always involve murders committed by relatives. Many of the high-profile ones have been tied to murders that occurred in California.
cases are complex and highly dependent on specific
Likely to receive access to their inheritance for some time.
Famous disinherited murderers include Lyle and Eric Menendez, the Californians known as the Menendez brothers. In 1996, a jury found them guilty of the first-degree murder of their parents, Jose and Mary Louise "Kitty" Menendez. The Menendez brothers' parents, who were killed in 1989, had a fortune that today would be worth more than $35 million.
that includes money, property, trusts, and
To unfold. Rob Reiner was one
The brothers, who became eligible for parole but were denied it in 2025, have been in prison ever since. Once there has been a finding of an intentional and felonious killing, even if the slayer is later released on parole or even if they serve no prison time at all, they would still not inherit anything from their victim's estate. In practical terms, that means if one or both of the Menendez brothers were to win parole in the future, they would still be ineligible to inherit any of their parents' wealth upon their release from prison.
anything.
over many years. As the legal
Of their murders? The short answer is
California Slayer rule also meant that Scott Peterson, who was convicted of killing his wife Lacey Peterson in 2002, couldn't collect the money he would otherwise have been due from her life insurance policy. That's what we can say. Don't forget to support our channel by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. We thank you all for your support.
and the court would
treated as if they passed away before the victim when it comes to
initially failing to receive medical clearance.